Yeah, so last week we mentioned a few Marvel movies and where we think they stand, so I thought it'd be a fun idea to do a Marvel tier list.
I know the first movie was Iron Man.
Where would you put it?
Look, it's probably like one of the best origin stories. Um, to be honest, there's quite a few origin stories I like, but yeah, I think that and Spider-Man as like a solo origin stories are probably the best. So I can't justify it being an S tier because I think the movies have gotten better since 2008, but a solid A tier sits for me.
I'll agree. I think it's a good A tier. I think it's definitely a good start, and when we watch that, if you kind of take that movie alone, you have no idea what's coming in. If you look at the tier list or these movies that are unranked, you can see what's afterwards, and it's just like that all started because Iron Man was a good movie. So the Incredible
The other
Hulk.
movie the other movie that dropped in 2008, The Incredible Hulk.
So I'm throwing this one in the bin. It's forgettable. It's not the same studio. It's before there was any coercion. I think they just made a Hulk movie to make a Hulk movie, and it's a
Yeah,
bad Hulk movie.
I think I've had this conversation with you, but like, if you asked me what happened in that movie, I wouldn't be able to mention anything but like Abomination shows up, and that's it.
I mean, okay, look, I haven't seen the movie since 2008, right? But I think I know what happens in that movie. He turns into the Hulk. He fights Abomination. Betty Ross is there, who loves Hulk, and then her dad, Thunder Ross or whatever his name is, hates Hulk and tries to kill him. That's what
I'm
happens.
pretty sure there's like a whole hour where he isn't the Hulk.
That's why it's in the bin. It's too much time. There's not enough Hulk in my Hulk movie, guys.
Can we change our F tier to be called Bin tier?
So we'll throw him in the bin. Yeah, done. All right. Next release is Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2. It's what 2010,
Yeah.
and it's pretty close to a bin for me. I know a lot of people enjoyed it. I enjoyed it at the time, but just going back and watching it, I don't. And
It's hard to watch now,
uh,
right?
sorry,
It's like it's hard to watch.
yeah,
I
it's just it's a very much a product of its time, and that like they like I know a lot of the like I speaking of Iron Man, it's set up a character that's able to go forward, whereas this one I feel like it just kind of it didn't for me, which I actually think we were maybe a little bit harsh when we first ranked these, but at the same time I'm looking at movies that like we could probably put above it, and CT is pretty accurate for it.
I was gonna say D because I thought you were gonna say bin, and then I was almost gonna say C, but I was like, I can't do that.
I just think there's worse Iron Man films.
You have a point. All right, so Iron Man is that Iron Man 2? Yeah. No, that's
Yeah,
Iron Man 2
it's
there.
it's it's got a little like explosion in the middle.
Yeah, that's Iron Man 2. All right, so C tier.
Yeah.
Next we
Yeah.
have Thor. It's a D tier because the other one sucks. I'm gonna jump the queue a little bit. I'm gonna break my own rules. Thor 2's in the bin. Thor 1's a D tier because it's better than Thor 2.
Yeah, it's very much could be a candidate for the bin, but Chris Hemsworth throwing the glass at the ground and saying more saves it.
Captain America: The First Avenger.
Oh, it's one of the worst origin stories. There's like, don't get me wrong, there's some good scenes in it, like him coming out of the like super
The
soldier machine and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Like the emotional parts, like where he's like real skinny and he's like still gonna stick up for Bucky and that sort of. Oh no, stick up for the girl and then Bucky saves him. And the scene where everyone's trying to climb the flagpole, but he pulls the pin out.
yeah, yeah.
Like there's some good scenes in it. I did not enjoy the movie, and I think it's a product of me not liking. like those style of movies, like the World War Two movies that aren't actually grounded in World War Two.
It's a bit like it's an over the top war film that has no real like pace to it, I think. And
Yeah,
I know I sound like a pretentious arsehole when I try and critique that, but that's how I felt, I feel. D tier.
D2.
Next we have the movie that started it all, The Avengers. When I say started it all, I mean there's already
Yeah.
5 movies on the list, but it's the first movie that brought them all together. It built the universe, and everyone was so hyped for this movie. And yeah,
Last movie of Phase One.
it is the last movie of Phase One.
Um, I cannot argue anywhere outside of A tier.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree with that.
It's yeah, like just its impact and like bringing all these superheroes together. It never been really done before and that sort of thing. And like it actually still managed to tell a good story and that sort of thing.
It made DC lose its fucking mind
Yeah,
because they still can't make a
DC
team up film.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3.
Oh,
So we have a nice little open spot here because it's not as good as Iron Man, but it's definitely better. No, it's worse than Iron Man 2 as well.
I was gonna say like
I just
I
had to double think there. I was like,
it's one of the ones where like you know when you throw like a piece of paper in the bin and it kind of rims off and then falls out. I think that's the best analogy I could give it in that like it escapes bin tier and lands in D tier just.
I don't know what I was thinking putting it any higher than D tier, but you are right. Iron Man 3 is D
But,
tier.
yeah, the fact that they like introduced this kid and like made him seem like he's now going to be a big part going forward, and then he's just like disappears
He was at
and
Tony's
like
funeral.
shows up at the funeral. Um, there's rumors that he's gonna like reprise his role later in the thing, and maybe the movie can redeem itself somewhat and move up to a C minus.
I don't think it's redeemable, even if that kid becomes like the next Iron Man. Really, really good movie. Captain America, The Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Probably, actually, not even probably. It's the best Captain America film.
I'm gonna go ahead and put it right up the top. I think it's a great film.
I agree with you. I could not argue it out of an S tier. Like what you call it, the whole Bucky storyline and like the fight scenes with them, and they have like it's kind of like it's a different genre than a lot of the other like
It's very spy espionage undercover too, which is awesome. Like that's what it's a good movie for what it is too, I think.
yeah yeah. No,
And
I won't argue any other way.
and GSP's in it, so that automatically bumps it up.
Yeah, GSP. I don't know. You've watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's back. He's back in that. So yeah, yeah. Batroc. Um, but the 10th movie to be released, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Look, this is
What's your thoughts on What's your thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy?
this is my favorite Marvel movie, and it's a good movie. It's like I can't not put it in S tier. It's that good.
Yeah.
And before I saw the movie, I was like, nah, I can't imagine it being that good. Like it'll be okay. I'll go watch it. They made me care about a fucking tree. And like holy shit, what a good movie. Like it just blew me away how good that movie was. Age of Ultron.
Probably the weakest of the Avenger movies.
Yeah. Yeah, it's by far the weakest. It's okay. I don't think it's awful. I just think it's very eh. I think there's a
It's weird because there's a lot of actors in it that I really enjoy, and there's a lot of moments that I really enjoy. But I just go back and I'm like, It's I feel like it suffers a lot because, as we said, it's the weakest of the Avenger movies. Like there is probably movies that will end up placing higher or around the same thing that like are not as good or yeah are not as good, but like it's always going to suffer for being like the worst Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Um, but like I think you feel the same. Is it James Spader, the guy that plays Ultron? He does it brilliantly.
Yeah,
Um,
he's a good Ultron.
I love me some I love me some Andy Serkis as Ulysses Claw. He's good.
Andy Serkis is brilliant.
Andy Serkis is always a win, man. Anything he's in. Um, and the tease for Cap lifting Mjolnir.
Yeah, we eventually got the payoff to that, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Endgame. um,
So C tier.
C tier? Yeah, I'd say it's a C tier.
C tier.
I didn't like Vision that much. Like I don't know what it is. I still don't like Vision at all.
Did you? I disagree. I think we've argued over this one before. The first Ant Man, I think, has got some really good moments. Um, I can't argue the same for the second Ant Man. We'll get to that later. But what am I? I'm comparing it to what? It's because it's sitting around a BC tier for me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it could have been a lot better movie if it was finished properly. Because there was this was like one of the first Marvel movies where it was like the studio was arguing with the director or something. I'm pretty sure.
It was Edgar Wright, I think, who started it, and then left Ant Man, I think. And I'm usually a good fan of Edgar Wright. Like Baby Driver's one of the best movies I've seen. I think it's up there as a really good movie. The Scott Pilgrim movie's awesome too, but I don't know, either he got fired or he quit this project or didn't try as hard, I guess, as weird as it is to say.
I think it's a C. I think it's a C.
I'd be happy with a C. I'd say
Yeah.
it's not a D tier, but it's definitely not a B tier
Yeah.
either.
Like the scene where like they're fighting in like the kids' room and they're like on the like
The
play
toy
set, the
train,
set.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's a
the
good
toy
scene.
train hits him and falls off. And they did that like practically. It's cool as. Yeah. Alright, what's next for us?
Captain
So
America's
that's the
Civil War.
end of phase two.
C?
A.
A?
A.
Oh, I thought you said C. A tier? Yeah, I agree. It's an A tier
A tier.
movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's a good story.
Yeah. I don't think I can argue it anyway, like above or below an A. So it's just a solid movie. I know people don't like the whole Zemo plotline, saying it's like he like luck happened.
Where do you put Doctor Strange?
Uh, me, for me, it's a C.
C? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's one of those movies where the first time I watched it, I enjoyed it. Went to watch it the second time, and I was just bored. There's a lot of time where it's just, just filling in time.
I think it's an origin movie, so that first hour really drags on with who he is and what he's about, and I don't know, I just feel like it kind of hurts the movie a lot because we've seen so many superheroes, and Doctor Strange Origins kind of odd. Guardians Volume 2.
Great movie. Not as good as Guardians 1. Just trying to see where I would place it as opposed to stuff we've seen.
I'm just gonna say B tier's looking real lonely, and I think it's definitely a B tier film.
B tier definitely seems right to me. I'll agree with you on that one. What's next? It is
Homecoming.
Homecoming. Now, we kind of talked about this before. Is like I said it was a origin story, but yeah, as you're saying, it's not really an origin story. But I have it on par with Iron Man, so
Yeah.
A just makes sense to me.
I'll put it right next to Iron Man.
Thank you.
But it's I think it really works well as not an origin story. And I know his first appearance is
Yeah.
in Civil War, but
Yeah.
it really helps that he's not like, you know, the Uncle Ben, the great power, great responsibility, and you don't have to relive that every time. So I really enjoyed the fresh take, and I'm going to say something controversial here. Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man out of the three. Yeah.
Um,
Thor Ragnarok.
you don't even need to ask me.
Look, if my favorite Guardians is S tier, I'm sure your favorite MCU film is S tier. And I agree
Not
with
just
you
my
actually.
favorite, the best MCU movie.
Yeah, no, Guardians is still better. I do agree with you. It's a S tier movie though. It's one of the best ways I've seen a character in a third movie just get completely rewritten into just this quirky, funny dude, and it's like so much better to connect than this arrogant arsehole of a god who you can't really connect with. And I think that's maybe the point of the first two, and you kind of see him transition, have really good character development. So, yeah,
So yeah, where does Black Panther sit for you?
okay, it's a B tier movie for me.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
overhyped a
If
little.
they fixed the CGI in the last like 20 minutes, like the whole rail scene, I think it would be A. I'd be able to argue it for A.
Even A plus. It's just that last rail
Yeah.
scene where they're fighting. It's this like 20-minute fight scene, and you kind of can't see what's going on. It's just annoying, and I think that really drops it to a B tier. Infinity War. Now I've said this before. It is better than Endgame. It is a better character Marvel film than Endgame. And I'm
Yeah,
just
and
gonna.
I agree. Like I have both these movies for me. They're both on par with each other because I see them more as like one long movie.
Yeah.
But I agree. Like if you're watching it as a single film, Infinity War sits in front of Endgame. So like without skipping ahead too much, I would have Infinity War S, Endgame A.
I mean, yeah, okay, let's break the rules because we just have Ant-Man and the Wasp, and that's probably a D tier anyway, or an F tier. But we'll do that after. I think Infinity War's S and Endgame's A as well. I just think Infinity War definitely has better overall like experience of a movie, whereas Endgame's more of fan service of the movie, and they're giving us what we want. They're paying things off after all this time, but I feel like Infinity War does a better job of telling a story than Endgame does.
I forgot they're only a year apart, like release wise. I honestly felt like, and I think that's the credit to how good Infinity War was. Is it felt like we had that 5 years like between them there.
I
Like
know.
it was like we were waiting for the resolution for so long. So yeah, no, I think that yeah, S and A is perfect. And then did you just dump Ant Man and the Wasp in the D?
I haven't seen it, so I can't dump it. If you want to dump it, fair enough. You're
Not in the bin, not in the bin. It's a D.
okay. We'll throw her in D tier.
It's forgettable. It's got Lawrence Fishburne in it, so I can't give it an F. I like Lawrence Fishburne.
Fair enough.
And then Captain Marvel.
Speaking of things that I want to throw in the bin, why do you hate this movie, Lucas?
I told you this.
Ah,
It's got a very redeemable scene in that like Samuel L. Jackson sings "Wait a Minute, Mr. Postman."
I still haven't googled that, and I want to.
That's the redeemable scene for me. It introduces Skrull to the whole thing, and just kind of like I feel like unless Marvel goes ahead and use them further, then like this movie has made them really underutilized.
Well, it's kind of weird that they kind of portrayed good guys here too, I guess.
Yeah.
Because there's that whole secret invasion and like shit really goes down. So
Yeah, yeah. So it's such a weird movie. Like it's not a bad movie, but it's just I feel like its tone is just off.
yeah,
And once again, it's one of those movies that I think suffers that it's like in the past as well.
yeah. No, I
Yeah.
100% agree. I mean, I don't think they could have told. Actually, that's the thing. That's why I haven't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp. And I saw this movie just because um, I had nothing better to do. So I was like, all right, I'll go watch a movie. B tier movie? C tier?
D.
C?
Oh, how many do we have in? No, no, just C. I don't see it as a B tier. I couldn't give it a B. The way they treated oh wait, Nick Fury's eye. Yeah, no.
Fair
I
enough.
I could almost drop it to a D tier for that like shitty Plurkin storyline.
Yeah, fair enough. One more on this list, Far From Home. I think it's a great film. I don't think it's an excellent film, but it's very, very good Spider-Man movie, and
It's
it's
below
fun.
Homecoming.
Definitely not as good as Homecoming. I'd say it's a B tier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm happy with that.
Well, there we go. We sorted out an Avengers slash Marvel tier list up until Phase 4.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments if you are with us or you don't like it. And if you don't like it, yeah, I don't know. Let us know your own Marvel tier list. Are we wrong? I don't know. Maybe.
What if?
What if we made a different tier list? What if Thor 2 was a good movie?